you've talked about vision and you've talked about the importance of the team. And I'm curious about, as a leader, what do you think is important to do in order to encourage collaboration and cooperation among the members of your team?
I think it starts again with having real clarity around what you're trying to do. Um, what is it we're trying to drive the organization toward? What's the goal? What's the vision? Communicating that out to the full team about why it's important. And then really encouraging them to see what their role is in achieving it. Um, in some cases, you may be able to offer a suggestion. In other cases, it's more just, hey, asking, how can you help us achieve this? I think of that as it's kind of planting seeds in the organization to do things. An example I would point to at Caltrans, we were making a big push to be much more sustainable and be, do things to be environmentally conscious and aware. And, it occurred to me that we had a fleet of hundreds, if not thousands, of vehicles out there. And I just threw it out to the guy who was in charge of the fleet and said, could we do something like with a fleet greening program, and that was it.
That's all you said.
That's all I
Make
said.
the fleet green.
Yeah, make the fleet green. And, and again, what I recognized was the power that we had as a huge agency, to make some change that could also then have ripple effects, beyond that. But then they took it and ran with it. And 2 weeks later or so, they came back with a whole plan of how to overhaul the fleet and do all these things. And so, years and years ago, you used to see running around California, all the Caltrans trucks were orange and they were, they're all white now. They're all green. They're electrics now. They're hybrids. But that started with, again, kind of planting that seed with the people to do it of, how can you help us achieve this bigger goal? And let them figure out what it is. And I think that's, I've always found I think organizations, people want to do a good job overwhelmingly. They want to be a part of something that's important, something that's special. They'd like to be able to say, I helped contribute to this. And so I think part of the role of the leader is giving them that kind of leash to figure out how they can do that and use, because they know more about their job than I will ever know of their job. They will see things that I couldn't see. I just need to kind of help point them in a direction and let them then take it and run.